Okay, so you finish a job, say plumbing work, you get paid, and then boom, that shiny 5-star review pops up. Feels like the end of the story, right? Job done.
It really does feel like the handshake moment, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But look, here's a painful truth, and it costs local businesses uh, probably thousands in missed calls every single year,
We just,
that 5-star rating.
yeah.
If you just let it sit there passively, it's often just, well, a vanity metric.
Yeah.
Doesn't do much heavy lifting.
Right, vanity. That's the tough reality we're digging into today. Feels good for the ego, sure, but if that praise isn't like strategically used, it's not really helping your visibility or your bottom line much.
Exactly.
So our mission in this deep dive is to figure out how to turn customer feedback, yeah, even those amazing 5-star ones from just passive praise into an active high-performance SEO asset. And we're looking at specific AI strategies to do that.
Yeah, and we're focusing really tightly here. We're talking about local tradesmen, your plumbers, roofers, HVAC guys operating in specific competitive areas. The source material we looked at really drills down into places like Amarillo and Pampa, Texas. Okay. And it shows that the metric that actually matters for success isn't some national ranking. It's all about that hyper-local visibility, being seen right there, right then.
And crucially, we're zeroing in on strategies where, what you see is what you get. We're talking actual measurable performance, not just fluff. That's the core of this YSI-YG promise idea we found, results over vanity.
Totally. If you're running a local service business, the real fight isn't necessarily on your website's homepage even. It's often won or lost in the map pack.
The map pack.
That little box, usually 3 listings, that's the main gatekeeper for the really valuable calls.
Okay, let's unpack that map pack dominance a bit. So for anyone searching for something urgent, something local, like, I don't know, emergency AC repair Amarillo, or maybe roof leak repair Pampa TX, this is prime digital real estate.
It's absolutely critical. It's where people click when they need help now.
No time for scrolling.
Exactly. That map pack is pretty much the #1 driver of high-intent lead call volume for these kinds of businesses. When things are urgent, customers aren't browsing pages deep. They click one of those top 3. Getting a spot there, that's essential for survival, let alone trying to grow.
So if the map pack is the prize, Google's got its criteria. You mentioned 3 core factors deciding who gets listed: relevance, prominence, and proximity.
That's the triad, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Relevance makes sense. Do you actually offer the service? Proximity, are you nearby? But prominence, wait, so getting like 100 fantastic 5-star reviews isn't automatically enough for prominence. Volume and quality aren't the whole story.
That's a really key point, and it's where a lot of businesses stumble. Prominence does need a strong reputation. Yes, volume and quality are part of that, but it also needs context.
Context.
Google needs to know what you're prominent for and where. This is where relevance kind of overlaps and boosts prominence. A great review for fixing my sink helps, but confirming where and tying it to a specific service keyword, that amplifies it.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because the source material flags that most tradesmen aren't failing because of bad reviews. They're failing because they totally fumble the review response.
Bingo. They miss this golden opportunity to maximize both relevance and prominence in like one single action.
That response, it's basically a direct line to Google's algorithm.
Arguably the single most underutilized line of communication in local SEO, yeah. It's your chance to tell Google, hey, see that service the customer just loved?
Yeah.
That water heater installation in Amarillo? Yes, that's exactly what we do right here.
Instead of just,
thanks for the feedback. Which, I mean, in the eyes of the algorithm is basically silence. It's polite, but it's data empty.
So, okay, they understand the stakes getting into that map pack is huge. Why are so many local businesses still leaving this, like, SEO gold just sitting there? Let's unpack these critical errors from the Digital Foundation audits that are just killing their map pack chances.
Right. We saw 3 major systemic flaws pop up again and again. The first critical error, it's the missing local keyword in the response.
Sounds simple, but you're saying the most common thing is still just that generic, glad we could help, thank you. Polite, but totally useless for SEO.
Polite, yes. Useless from a data perspective, pretty much. It generates 0 signals for Google to connect that positive review content back to your ranking factors for specific services or locations.
Give me an example.
Okay, let's say a customer writes, "Thank you for fixing my burst pipe so quickly on a Sunday afternoon." That's fantastic feedback, right? High-value stuff.
Absolutely. Lifesaver.
But if the business just replies, "Thanks for your review," well, it's just a nice interaction. Gone. But imagine they reply, "We're so glad our team could quickly handle your emergency burst pipe repair service in Pampa, TX." Being there for Pampa residents is what we do.
Ah, okay. Suddenly, that one response turns the whole review into a confirmed, geographically relevant signal for Google.
Precisely. Yeah. Without that confirmation, the specific service and the location locked in by the response, Google doesn't fully register the original review as a powerful signal for that search term in that area. You did the hard work getting the 5 stars, but you dropped the ball in the data transfer. That's mistake number 1.
Okay, mistake 2 is more foundational, you said. NAP inconsistency, right? NAP, name, address, phone number. Remind us why being absolutely precise, almost surgical with this is so critical.
Well, think about it. If your digital foundation is shaky, if Google isn't 100% sure who you are and where you operate, it's never going to grant you that top-tier map pack visibility. It needs absolute confidence.
So little variations matter.
Hugely. If your Google business profile officially says Amarillo Plumbing Co. LLC, but maybe a signature and a review response, or even a listing on some directory site just says Amarillo Plumbing,
Google gets confused.
it reads that as potentially 2 different businesses, or at least it introduces doubt. It shakes that foundational credibility Google relies on to rank you confidently. The algorithm basically loses trust in defining your entity clearly.
Okay, that makes sense. And that's where the tools come in.
Exactly. And this is where the source material specifically highlighted using Notebook LM. Its job is basically to act like a data auditor.
How so?
It ingests all your different online mentions, your main website, and your Google profile, all those citation sites, social media, and it flags every single inconsistency in your name, address, or phone number, even tiny variations.
So it cleans everything up, creates a single source of truth.
Precisely. It ensures a perfectly clean, consolidated NAP foundation. And then that verified, clean data is what gets used by other tools, like the AI response drafter we'll talk about, and make sure every communication, even a quick thank you, is technically perfect and consistent. You stabilize the core identity first.
Got it. Stabilize first, then optimize. Okay, mistake number 3. This one's less about the algorithm, more about the customer. The sloppy presentation.
Yeah, you nail the keywords for the algorithm, but the customer still sees the response. And if it looks rushed, unprofessional, that causes problems too.
So things like typos, really generic copy-paste replies, maybe using weird acronyms.
Exactly. Rushed responses, bad grammar, lack of any real warmth. It just diminishes the trust that the original 5-star rating built up. We saw examples that were clearly just boilerplate, poorly formatted. It just looks bad.
So the potential customer sees the 5-star rating, thinks, okay, they do good work, but then they read a typo-filled impersonal response and think, huh, are they too busy, too disorganized? Can they not even handle a simple reply properly? It plants a seed of doubt.
Precisely. That's the human element. Trust gets eroded right there. And that doubt, it might be enough for them to just skip your number and call it the next listing down in the map pack.
Okay, so these 3 mistakes, missing keywords, inconsistent NAP, sloppy presentation, they all hurt map pack ranking. Which brings us to the solution, because handling all this manually, it sounds like a ton of work.
It is.
How does a busy local tradesperson, juggling calls and estimates, keep NAP perfect, weave in local keywords strategically, and sound polished and personal every single time?
That's the bottleneck. Human effort doesn't scale well here.
Yeah.
And this is where the AI comes in, specifically using Gemini as an efficiency multiplier.
Okay, efficiency multiplier. But it's not just churning out random text.
Right, absolutely not. What's really interesting is how it's deployed. It's used within a very specific strategic framework. The goal is to convert that feedback into what the sources called hyperlocal SEO gold, while simultaneously fixing all 3 of those mistakes we just talked about.
Okay, so how does it do that? Break down the framework.
There are 2 main parts. First is the high-intent keyword integration. Gemini is basically trained to read the customer's review, understand the context, what service did they actually praise, and then naturally smoothly weave the relevant high-value local keyword phrase into the response, along with the specific service area.
Right, we saw that example in the sources. The customer says something simple like, the team fixed our AC unit fast. Great job, which on its own has 0 SEO value if you just say thanks.
Correct. But the AI drafted response, it's powerful because it sounds human, but hits the technical marks. Something like, we're delighted to hear our HVAC service team was able to get your air conditioning service in Pampa, TX running quickly. Providing reliable, prompt AC repair for our local Pampa customers is our top priority.
Boom. Suddenly that response is a super specific piece of content. It confirms the service, confirms the exact location for Google, and directly helps that business rank better for valuable searches like AC repair Pampa TX.
Exactly. It turns praise into a ranking signal. And the second part of the framework, That tackles the human element, the tone, the polish, avoiding that sloppy presentation.
Okay.
Gemini is trained on a specific brand voice and tone guide that's created for that particular business.
So it learns how that business should sound. Like it knows a plumber shouldn't sound like a fast food joint.
Precisely. The training ensures the AI's responses are professional, they're tradesman-focused, so it uses language relevant to fixing things, not selling burgers, and they're personalized based on the actual review text.
So it avoids that generic, robotic feel you sometimes get with AI.
That's the goal. Deep training makes it feel much more natural, maintaining that customer confidence. And crucially, while doing all this, it ensures efficiency and execution. It happens fast and maintains that perfect NFP consistency every single time because it's pulling from that clean audited data we talked about.
So it's blending the technical SEO needs with like genuine sounding customer care.
That's the sweet spot. Optimization plus polish delivered consistently.
Okay, let's connect this all back to the bottom line. How does this systematic optimization, powered by AI, actually impact the metrics a business owner really cares about? The source material framed this whole review response strategy as part of foundational stabilization, phase 1.
Right. You have to get this foundation solid before you can realistically think about regional expansion, phase 2.
Makes sense.
And this is the WYSISIYGRY, the tangible return. By systematically optimizing every single review response using this AI framework, you kickstart this really powerful, measurable, self-reinforcing cycle. And it directly impacts how much it costs you to get a new customer.
Okay, walk us through that cycle. It starts with the optimized review response.
Right. Better, more specific keyword signals, combined with that guaranteed NAP consistency from using tools like Notebook LM that leads directly to higher local map pack ranking and visibility. You start showing up more often, higher up.
And the immediate result of ranking higher in the map pack for those urgent searches is?
Your phone starts ringing more. Simple as that. You get increased lead and call volume from high-intent customers who need your service now.
Okay, more calls. But here's the kicker.
The kicker is, if you're getting significantly more calls without increasing your marketing budget, you haven't spent more on ads, you've just optimized your responses, then your cost per qualified lead, CPL, automatically goes down.
Because you're getting more leads for the same spend.
Exactly. You're making your existing digital presence work exponentially harder for you just by changing how you reply to positive feedback. It's incredible leverage.
So the end goal isn't just getting stars on Google or seeing your name higher up. It's about building a disciplined, ideally automated system that drives predictable lead call volume and actively lowers your long-term CPL. That makes future growth, like expanding to another town, much more financially realistic.
Absolutely. What really stands out is how seemingly small the action is writing, maybe a 100-word reply to a review, but the strategic impact is massive when it's done perfectly, consistently, and at scale using these tools. It really proves that getting the foundation right often matters way more than just throwing money at flashy ad campaigns.
So the core message here is crystal clear. Don't let that valuable customer feedback just sort of wither on the vine with the generic thanks. Convert every single interaction, every review, into an active ranking signal that fuels that positive optimization cycle.
And that really leads to a provocative question for you, the listener, to think about. If something as seemingly simple as review responses, basic customer service, right, can have such a direct measurable impact on your CPL and even your potential for future expansion, especially when you leverage tools like Gemini and Notebook LM.
Then what else?
Yeah, what other seemingly small foundational digital tasks or simple communications might you be overlooking right now in your business? Where else could you be sitting on untapped potential?
Good question. Maybe it's time to go back and audit some of those really basic processes, your simple communications, your data entry points. You might just find you're sitting on some untapped SEO gold that could really redefine your local visibility.